Hello friends, I'm Adam, and I'm excited to be coming at you right now on the behalf of H2OC Orange County Stormwater Program, where we're all about taking action to protect our water resources today for an even healthier, happier, and better Orange County tomorrow. Protecting our waterways is a really big deal. But wait, so sorry. For a minute there, I must have forgotten who I was talking to. You already know this. You're not just anyone, you're one of Orange County's future-minded students empowering yourself to protect water resources and the environment, so you're aware of how important it is. And by taking action today, you've already shown me you have what it takes to conquer the stormwater education journey we're about to begin and become stormwater protectors. Ready to dive in? Me too. Let's do this. How does clean water impact our lives? Clean water plays an important role in our lives, so protecting the quality of our water resources matters to everyone in Orange County, young and old. Because if you're anything like me, there's a lot I treasure about living in Orange County. I've always felt super connected to the outdoors. I love hiking, biking, going to the ocean, spending as much time as I can outside. And of course, I love surfing, whether or not it loves me back. Let's learn more about the benefits that clean and healthy waterways provide to everyone in the Orange County community. As a stormwater protector, I care so much about Orange County's water resources that I'm not afraid to ask the hard questions like, what do you treasure most about living in Orange County? I asked kids at home. Here's what they had to say. The number one thing you awesome OC kids love to do is bike around our amazing community, including the Santa Ana River Trail. Another was go hiking. And how can I blame you? We have the best hiking spots like Santiago Oaks and Irvine Regional Parks. You also said you love to fish in our beautiful lakes, ponds, and beaches. And lastly, you said going to the beach with your family and friends. Here are some friends having fun at Bolsa Chica State Park and Ecological Reserve, which are right across the highway from each other in Huntington Beach. How cool is that? Right on. All great answers. You see, while protecting our water resources is something that connects our entire community, it's also something that relates to each of us in our own unique way, deep down as an individual. Now, I encourage you to take a minute to pause the video and ask yourself, or a friend, parent, or classmate, what are some of the things you treasure the most about living in Orange County? Because you may not know it yet, but you also have your own unique and special connection to protecting our local water resources, just like me, and just like everyone else in Orange County. Clean water plays an important role in our lives, and protecting the quality of our water resources affects our entire Orange County community. Let's learn a little more about water. Have you ever noticed how water actually recycles itself? So cool, right? The water cycle is the movement of water from place to place, on, above, and below the Earth's surface. It is powered by the sun and assisted by gravity. Like a circle, cycles have no beginning and no end. Although the path an individual water molecule takes may not be in a circle, nor will every water molecule take the same path. As a matter of fact, here's a picture to demonstrate the various paths water molecules can take within the water cycle. Water is constantly moving, but let's start right here where it says ocean. When the sun heats up the water, some of it will evaporate and move up into the sky. Due to pressure, the water will start to condense and form clouds. Then those clouds will rain down the water as precipitation. The water will flow across the land in many ways, sometimes ending up as surface water in a lake, or it might soak into the ground, what is shown at the bottom here as infiltration. Water, as it moves throughout the water cycle, is guided by a watershed. Let's look at what a watershed is. But first, do we all live in a watershed? Yes. No matter where we live, we all live in a watershed. That means we all play a part in preventing pollution and keeping our water resources clean. There are actually 11 different watersheds that make up Orange County. You can find out which ones you live in by following the link at the end of this video. A watershed is what now? A watershed is an area of land where water drains through a series of creeks, rivers, and bays into a common body of water such as the ocean. Everyone lives, goes to school, and plays in a watershed. Watersheds are determined by high points in the land, also known as the watershed divide. Here we have the tall mountains in the back. The mountains are so tall that when it rains, the water will fall on one side of the mountain or the other. Water only keeps flowing down. It will never go back up the mountain. It will keep flowing to lower and lower points until it reaches the lowest common water body. In Orange County, this is usually the ocean. As it travels, water will pick up pollutants and take them along for the ride. If someone on a hike doesn't pick up after the dog, when it rains, bacteria from the pet waste could flow right past you next time you are walking by a river. Gross. Now that we've shed some light on what a watershed is, let's look deeper at how water moves through the watershed. Have you ever noticed where water goes during or after a rainstorm? The storm drain system takes water from our outside environment and transports it to the ocean. It does a great job of protecting our homes and communities from flooding during storm events. But did you know that storm drain systems can also be a source of pollution for our creeks, rivers, lakes, and ocean? It's true. But the good news is that everyone, even you, can take action to prevent this from happening. And one of the first keys to preventing pollution is knowing what a storm drain is and what it looks like. Have you seen these before? These are all images of storm drains. A storm drain is a pipe or channel that collects excess runoff from paved streets, parking lots, sidewalks, roofs, and even from outside of our homes. What about these? These are all images showing parts of the sewer system. The sewer system carries water from inside our homes and businesses to a treatment facility. Storm drains are designed to collect water from outside sources. Picture water coming from a garden hose in your front or backyard. Your hose is probably kept outside, so that means the water coming from your hose is sent through the storm drain system. This is different from water inside our homes. Inside water is carried by the sewer system, where it goes to a treatment plant to be cleaned before being released to the ocean. So next, imagine water coming from a toilet inside your home. Since the toilet is located inside your house, the water from your toilet is sent through the sewer system to be cleaned at a treatment plant before being released to the ocean. Now take a minute to pause the video and ask yourself, or a friend, parent, or classmate, other than toilets and hoses, what are the types of inside water and outside water? A few other examples of outside water include sprinklers, slip and slides, and the big one, rain. A few other examples of inside water include sinks, bathtubs, and showers. Here in Orange County, water that enters storm drains is not treated or cleaned and flows directly to our waterways, such as creeks, rivers, and the ocean. That's why, in order to protect our Orange County water resources, it's important to be careful about what gets into storm drains. Now, some of the terminology here gets a little tricky, so let's have a quick vocab lesson to clarify some of the key terms we're about to use. Runoff. Runoff is the water from rain and outdoor water use that flows over the land and doesn't soak into the ground. Impermeable surfaces. Impermeable surfaces are hard surfaces that don't allow water to penetrate, forcing it to run off. Common impermeable surfaces include roofs on our houses, driveways, sidewalks, or roads. Water from rain that runs off your property is an example of stormwater runoff, while water from sprinklers and hoses that runs off your property is considered non-stormwater or urban runoff. But the thing to remember is, no matter the source, water that doesn't soak into the ground is runoff. Runoff is a problem for our waterways because it is not treated like water in the sewer system. It felt good to flex your vocabulary muscles, didn't it? Now let's put them to use. Take a quick second to pause the video and take mental inventory of your home's outdoor space by asking yourself, what different kinds of impermeable surfaces are located outside your home? How'd you do? If you listed your home's driveway, walkways, entryway, or patio, then great job. Sounds like you're on the right track, which means we're ready to move on to the next important question. What's the big deal? You might be wondering, if it's just water, what harm can it do? Well, as runoff flows through your neighborhood streets, sidewalks, and gutters, it picks up pollutants along the way. then the water carries the pollution to our creeks, rivers, lakes, and ocean without being treated. Like any other type of pollution, runoff pollution harms the environment. It's also important to remember that runoff pollution is really made up of other individual pollutants, even some that might not seem like pollutants on their own. Runoff pollution impacts the quality of water in our streams, creeks, rivers, bays, and ocean. That's why it's so important to understand the runoff pollution basics, such as what are the common pollutants, and what actions can you take to prevent them from reaching the storm drain. But first, let's check out this short clip from a closer look at how polluted runoff can harm Orange County's water quality. Did you see how easily those pollutants flowed into our storm drain system? While on its way to the storm drain, water picks up pollutants. Once in the storm drain, the water and pollutants flow untreated to our waterways. So, if you were to accidentally leave a hose running and it goes down your driveway into the street, that water will flow into the storm drain. If you're not careful, many common activities can lead to runoff pollution. That's part of why being the solution to runoff pollution means stopping pollution before it reaches our storm drains. As we live, go to school, and play in Orange County, it's our job to protect our waterways. Now, let's take a closer look at the pollutants to watch out for. Examples of runoff pollutants include litter, pet waste, oil from cars, and other materials that don't belong in the environment that harm our waterways. I'm about to reveal the 9 most common runoff pollutants, but before I do that, let's put on our creativity caps and do this quick activity to see how many runoff pollutants you're able to pick out of your current surroundings. Look outside your window and think about the things you and your friends and family do outside. Now make a list of things you think could become runoff pollutants.
Here are 9 of the most common runoff pollutants. We have home solvents. These are the cleaning chemicals your parents might use to clean around your house. Paint, like you put on a house. Engine oil, like oil from cars. Yard debris, which can include leaves or grass clippings from mowing the lawn. Pesticides, like your parents might use if they spray ants to kill them. Pet waste, like dog poop. Detergents. These are soaps used to wash things, like cars. Trash, like candy wrappers that are not thrown away. And fertilizers, like what your parents might sprinkle on plants to get them to grow.
Take a look at your answers and see how they match up. If some of these made it onto your list, bonus points. But remember, there are no wrong answers since nothing besides pure rainwater should go into the storm drain. Even dirt can be a runoff pollutant. Ready to start taking action to keep these pollutants out of our waterways? There are a ton of ways you can prevent pollution, but I'll share 3 easy ones with you. First, disposing of household items correctly is a great way to prevent water pollution by ensuring these products don't end up in the storm drain where they can travel untreated to our waterways and ocean. However, it's not always super easy to tell which household items should go into the trash can, which should go into the recycling container, and which should go to a household hazardous waste collection. This might seem a little confusing at first, but guess what? The more you practice the right habits, the more you'll get the hang of it. And it starts with just a little bit of guidance. Let's take a look at some common household item examples and match them with the appropriate disposal center. We've got a cereal box, an old computer, an empty juice box, motor oil, an empty can of soda, used batteries, a candy bar wrapper, leftover paint. Where does each one go? Well, while a cereal box and soda can are prime candidates for the recycling container, The candy wrapper and the juice box are both great examples of products that you should dispose of in the trash can. What about the computer, motor oil, batteries, and paint? These are all examples of hazardous waste, and they should be taken to a household hazardous waste center. Whenever you throw something into a trash or recycling bin, make sure to close the lid. Why? To keep the smelly trash from assaulting your nose, of course. But there is a water quality benefit too. By keeping the lid closed, you're making sure that the wind can't blow the candy wrapper out of the bin and into the storm drain, and that a bird can't swoop in and grab that juice box, only to drop it into a river. You made sure to put it in the bin. Don't let something else spoil your hard work. By making the right decisions, you can not only reduce the amount of pollution going into the storm drain, but you can also reduce the amount of chemicals and harmful materials that can travel to our creeks, rivers, lakes, and ocean. Now brace yourself for the second way to protect our waterways, because number 2 will shock you. And by number 2, I mean pet waste. Because while it's not a real shock that our pets are undeniably lovable and cute, they also poop. Did you know that pet waste pollutes our waterways? Consider these not so adorable facts about pet waste. Dogs poop a lot, every doggone day at least. Pet waste has tons of bacteria. 1 gram of pet waste contains 23 million fecal bacteria, which can make people sick. Why else is it bad? Show of hands. Who likes to go to the beach? I do. Who likes to swim in bacteria? Nope, nobody. That's what I thought. If pet waste gets into the water, it can lead to beach closures, harm wildlife, and damage plant life. What can you do? You can clean up after your pets. It's not the most fun job, but it's so important. Any pet waste that is left in the grass, sidewalk, or yard gets washed into the storm drain and goes straight to our waterways and the ocean. Picking up after your pet prevents their waste from polluting our waterways. Anytime you are out on a walk with your trusty friend, make sure to have a pet waste bag handy. Bag up their waste and place it in a trash bin. If you're at home in your own yard, pick up your pet's waste at least once a week, and definitely right before it rains. Not only will you help our waterways, but you won't step in pet waste while you're out playing in your yard. Remember, although some pets are smart enough to fight crime or do extraordinary tricks, they rely on responsible owners, like you, to make sure their waste gets cleaned up and disposed of properly. It is not only rain that carries pollutants into the storm drains and then into our waterways. Can you think of another way trash and pet waste gets into our waterways? Do you remember that running hose from earlier? Sprinklers and hoses that spray the sidewalks and streets act just like rainwater and carry harmful pollution into storm drains. So not only are those sprinklers and hoses wasting precious water, but they're actually polluting it too. What can you do to help? You can pay attention to the sprinkler systems in your neighborhoods and around your homes. And when you see a sprinkler or hose watering a sidewalk or street, tell an adult and tell them why it's important to fix the problem. No one wants to swim in trash water. All right, you've learned a lot so far. Let's bring it all together. I hope you now see how everything is connected. The water cycle is what moves water around watersheds in Orange County. Watersheds guide water from high areas of land to low-lying waterways. There are actions we can all take at home to help reduce runoff pollution and preserve our water resources for everyone to enjoy. Whether you are putting trash in covered bins, doing your duty by picking up your pet waste, or making sure your sprinklers aren't watering the sidewalks, you personally can reduce the amount of pollution that ends up in our waterways. And when it comes to protecting our waterways, we need all hands on deck. Thank you so much for your time today. I now consider you a valued stormwater protector. I've put together a few more fun activities for you that I couldn't pack into this video. Visit h2oc.org/protector to find more ways to get up close and personal with your watershed. And let us know what you're doing to prevent water pollution.